Hello and welcome to the Sounds of Salisbury podcast. I'm Alex.
I'm Ellen.
And we're here to bring you the sounds of the Salisbury music scene.
And the voices of the community.
Woo! Just have to say, I was doing a little bit of air drumming during our little intro there. It's just a little refresher to go maybe check out some of the other podcasts that we've done. I think that was James's last week.
Yes, it was.
Top 10.
Yes. So we've been thinking of a name for this week. We've got a guy on that we've been hoping to get on for ages, so we're really chuffed to be getting him on today.
Yeah.
And so spitballing a few ideas of what to call the episode. Alex said funny. I said, well, we don't actually know whether it's going to be funny yet, so maybe we'll think of something else.
He probably will be. I most definitely won't. It's pretty sure.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah. So we thought maybe we'll just call it comedy.
That gives a little bit of a hint, I guess. Really,
I think it does.
Pretty big hint. So when we kind of do like the gig guide at the end of the podcasts, and we tell you all who's playing where, we always mention that on a Thursday at Kudos you have the Follow Comedy Club, and we are delighted to be welcoming Joe to the show, and he'll be on just after this little break.
All right. Hello. Welcome, Joe. Welcome to the Sounds of Salisbury podcast.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're very excited. We've been wanting to get you on, obviously, for a while, but when we had you scheduled in, we weren't very well. So thank you for bearing with us and coming back and still speaking to us.
What was it? Was it that you were ill, or were you in fact hungover? Because I listened to your last podcast, and I hear that you were hungover a lot. So look, I'm not pointing fingers. I just want to about an honest chat, all right?
Honest chat. We are often hungover, but generally not on a Wednesday night.
No, okay. Wednesdays, yeah, no. Wednesday's not a bad. Yeah, hangovers. I don't know about you guys. Hangovers are different now, right? I don't want to try. Anyway, we'll get on with the interview and this stuff and chat about things. But we'll get on to it, hangovers later, because I need to talk about this and get it off my chest. But we'll carry on for now. Right.
Well, we did ask for hangover cures, so if that's part of what you have to say, we'll all ears.
No, well, the thing is, the best hangover cure is obviously sleep, so you're unconscious through the hangover. But the thing is, as you get older, you can't sleep on hangovers. I don't know about you, but I can't sleep anymore. It's like some sort of cruel trick that the world has played on me. I have to live through the hangovers now for like 16 hours. But anyway, yeah. So I have no cure except stop drinking, which we won't do because it's amazing.
No.
So we'll just carry it.
No.
It's brilliant.
Okay, so thanks for that opening. Obviously, you're just a naturally funny guy because you come straight out with all of the jokes. Is that why you wanted to become a comedian?
I think there's a lot. I mean, it probably starts from an early age. It's one of those. It's funny because I feel like it was always for me. I was always going to be a stand-up comedian. Because I started off being like quite outrageous and a bit showy-offy and like just that sort of thing. Classic, way to retaliate to the bullies, make them laugh. They can't punch you while they're laughing as much. So that was one of the options. But weirdly enough, in comedy, most of the people that I meet, the comedians, are not the outgoing people that I thought they would be. They're actually really insular, really quiet, like very nerdy in a good way, I mean. Quite nerdy people. So that's been like a real eye-opener. But yeah, no, for me, sort of had it in my mind as I was growing up. And then I think it just sort of hit me about 20 years old. I realized that I had no options in life. I didn't want to do a regular job. Yeah, it took me about 10 years to actually try it though, weirdly enough. So I didn't try it till I was 30. I think I got to that thing, like, I don't know if you got to that point in your life where like the alarm goes off. And you're like, oh, I need to start my life. And I was like 30. I was like, this is slept through quite a few alarms through my 20s to get to that. Press snooze a few times too many. Got to 30 and I was like, oh, I better, do something with my life. And yeah, so I started then. So that's about 6 years ago. So,
Oh, quite neat. So what were you doing then as a job before?
So I was running
restaurants. Mornings of. Sorry?
Pardon? Sorry about delay. I was running restaurants for a long time and just having a good time, working hard. Always sort of slightly ambitious, but just not really knowing where to go with it or where to place it. But always had this desire to do stand-up comedy, but was just too scared to. Was just way too scared to. It just was the most frightening thing. And then it got to like 30 years old, and I was running restaurants, and it was just. This is the thing that got to me. I was trying to do my best and be ambitious in an industry that I just knew that I didn't really want to be in, and I felt like I was always going to lose. I thought there's no way to win in this job because I can never be. There's always going to be someone out there who wants it more than me. So I'm never gonna get. And I was like, well, at least with comedy, it's a long, hard road. I'm sure you in stuff that you guys do, you'll notice as well. It's a long journey to get where you want to go to and things like this. But I always thought, well, at least I'll be doing exactly what I want, and everything I do goes into the bucket of yes, that I've achieved that, and that goes into the future. Whereas when you're doing something you don't really want to do, it's sort of like all sort of passes through you a little bit, and you're not going to keep it forever. Whereas everything I've done in comedy, every joke that I've ever written, every performance goes into the thing of my life. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I started feeling. So yeah, and yes, I've been going for like 6 or 7 years now, and I'm loving it. It's like it's the best thing ever.
Oh, it's quite difficult because there isn't like a school for comedians. You know, if you want to run a restaurant, you go on a management course or something. But so if you wanted to, to change your career into something like being a comedian, it must be quite difficult to kind of start it and get your name out there. What did you do? Did you go to there were like open mics for comedy clubs?
Well, yeah, but okay. So the thing is with that is it's not so much that there's not a school for comedy, because now there's actually a lot of courses you can take.
Okay.
And even when I started, there were a lot of courses. There's loads of courses for hosting, for writing technique. There's lots of books out there, which I actually didn't know about, but they are out there. But the biggest thing about starting something like this is that you can earn money while you start. So you've got to have a job while you do it. Like if you want to run a restaurant, you get a job as a waiter. You're earning money while you're learning. And whereas with stand-up, you're doing a full-time job, and then you're running around doing doing whatever you can. So that's one of the biggest things about it, is that it's either you're not getting paid anything, getting paid just a small amount that doesn't really make a dent, and then you make enough money to be great. So then I just started going to open mics. Basically, it was probably like so for the first 2 or 3 years, I did terribly at stand-up comedy. And I hope if there's anyone who wants to do stand-up comedy, listen to this. They don't feel bad if they've had a few bad gigs, because I had 2 or 3 years of pure humiliations. But the thing is, it didn't bother me one bit. Like, I think I was so delusional. I loved it. It's one of the best times of my life. It was like 2 or 3 years of just going out, talking, saying whatever I wanted, no one laughing, but me feeling like I was like the king of the world. I was like, look at me go, I'm doing it. I would come home and just be like laying on the floor, just like the happiest person in the world. But obviously at some point I was like, oh no, actually do need to start making people laugh at some point. So do try and work on that. And actually, not to go too far into it, and some people don't like to know this too much about comedy, because they like to have like my girlfriend, for instance, Chloe, before she met me, she thought comedians just made everything up on the spot every single night, which is not true. We make some stuff up, but obviously honing and working on stuff for weeks and months and years at a time. And I hate to burst the bubble for people, but when I first started, I had no technique. I didn't know anything I didn't even know really that jokes existed. I was just saying stuff. And then we got into lockdown, and I had a bit of time to sort of take my foot off the gas a little bit and be like, right, let me just have a think about what's happening, because I'm not progressing. I'm not progressing as a comedian. And then I just started reading books, and it was the best thing I've ever done, because I was like, oh, put that at the front and that at the back, and oh, don't say that too many times, and just simple techniques. I was like, oh, okay, because comedy is so much like music in lots of ways, where like melody and like the right word, the wrong word here, the maybe spiking the emotion too much on this part or that. Even the most subtle changes that you make will make such a big difference on how the audience feel about you, and how they can sort of listen to the melody of what you're doing, your jokes, and sort of laugh at the right times and get what you're saying.
That's a really wonderful way of putting it. I mean, as a musician and a songwriter, I kind of understand exactly what you're saying there. I suppose, and timing as well is obviously imperative to comedians, just knowing when to have the audience in the palm of your hand and then hit them with a punchline.
Yeah, and that feels like such a natural thing, but to get to the natural place takes so much work before it. Like it's sort of a weird, it's somewhat counterintuitive. Like, and I think that was how I started off being like, I'm just like you would as a musician. Like it's sort of similar actually. Like I think there's some sort of embarrassment about learning how to do comedy. Like, and I think like whereas you would learn the guitar and then go out and play the guitar for people, but then again, playing in your bedroom, you have to go out and play to people and feel how they're feeling before you'd actually get the actual experience. So it's almost like the other way, sort of backwards way in a way. But yeah, no. So as a musician, so how long did that take you, for instance, to start feeling like, rather than just playing to an audience and just doing your thing and concentrating on what you're doing, how long did it take you to get to the point where you're like, oh, actually, I'm now in the room. I can feel them. I can change and adapt as I go.
Yeah, I'd say quite a while, because every room's different. I guess it's the same for yourself as well. So you have to kind of interpret what people are into, and then, you know, is it upbeat? Is it something slower? And really try to then make your mark on them. Because sometimes, you know, I'm sure you do it. You'll have people chatting or whatever, and it's about getting their attention. And it might just be that one moment that does it, and then you've got them. But yeah, it's probably, and I'm still learning. I think, you know, you'll continue to learn that throughout, because every gig's different.
Yeah. Do you know, I had an experience the other day. I was doing this. This was on Saturday. I did this competition. It's the Leicester Square Theatre competition. It's for comedians that have been going for longer than 5 years, and it's a really good competition. It means a lot. It goes on your CV and can get you a lot of paid gigs and stuff like that. And the room was so quiet. Like for every act, it was just really quiet. And what I actually did was I had my material planned out. I didn't listen to my instincts, and I was like, right, you know these jokes work. You know this, right? This is a competition. Don't try and do anything crazy. So I went up and did my material, and it went like averagely well, but it didn't go how I would expect it to normally go. And I was really kicking myself, because I was like, oh no, you just ditched all the experience you've got. Because before I went up, I was like, this room doesn't want crazy, you know, X-rated material about this and that. You need to get them on board. They're like a really polite crowd. So you need to go up there and speak to them. Maybe speak to them about a joke, do a joke or two that relates to them, maybe, and then take them on your journey and then bring them into your world, rather than just like, this is my world. You will like, and it didn't go. I got through to the semi-final, so that's great. But I just felt so defeated. No, thanks very much. Thank you. I mean, yeah, the point of me bringing it up wasn't to be like I got through. But thank you. No, but that's an example of, even though I knew exactly what I should have done, but I didn't listen to my instincts, and I was really kicking myself after, like, even after quite a long time of knowing that, you know, I still sort of, and that can happen. And I think now that's a massive learning experience, one that I didn't think I needed to learn again, but clearly, you know.
Yeah, I would imagine it's just as difficult if you've got hecklers in the audience as if you've got an audience that says nothing.
Yeah, hecklers sometimes can be the best thing that can happen to a night. But then again, obviously, you know, good hecklers, people who are actually funny, usually works out well. But obviously, you don't want to get upstaged by the heckler either. But that's why the night in Salisbury has taken me by surprise, because before I came to Salisbury, my preconception would have been that it would be quite a polite crowd. They are not polite. They are outrageous. Like people in London. So I got a lot of acts coming from London to do this night, and they describe the Salisbury night as having crackhead energy. Now, I don't know what that, like, if that's a good or bad thing, but like the Salisbury crowd are so up for it and so loud. Like I actually have to like just calm them down a little bit. And but I mean, maybe that's my preconception of what Salisbury would be like. But I just thought it would be a little more polite, chilled and civilized, polite. not the case, which is amazing, because it makes our job so much easier, because then we come out, they're up for it, they were up for a good time. and then you're just steering them in the direction and sort of bringing them up and down by 10%, not having to sort of galvanize them. So yeah, all learning experiences and all a lot of fun. But yeah, hecklers can go either way.
Well, we're really grateful that you've brought Follow Comedy to Salisbury. We've been, and we had a fabulous evening, and we definitely are going to come again for sure.
It was
I didn't realize you'd been.
Yes, we came in February, I think. Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, nice. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit less pressure now, actually, because you've been and had a good time, and you still want to talk to me. That's brilliant.
Yeah, we still. We came before we invited you, so we thought, right, let's go and check it out. Let's see what it's all about, and let's see if it's actually of something of interest to us and what we feel people of Salisbury need to know. Because I was speaking to somebody the other day, and they said, "Oh, I didn't realize there was a comedy club in Salisbury," and I thought, how? Why do you not know? Everyone should know. This is genius. It's brilliant. And the fact that you bring in people from the circuit testing their new material, I just think it's an absolutely great night. But why did you choose Salisbury? What brought you here?
So yeah, first off, thanks for bigging us up there, and I do appreciate that, because we do put a lot of work into making it a proper night rather than just an open mic where there's a microphone in the corner of the room and there's dogs barking and people talking over you. We got it in a separate room. We've got someone doing the music, all the lighting's right, all the lamps are out. It's a nice atmosphere. We try to really. I've worked at one of the biggest comedy clubs in London for a year before I started this. So that I had all the experience. I've done comedy for a long time, obviously, but I worked at Big Belly Comedy Club, which does sort of like 10 shows a week, massive, all this. I worked there doing tech, sound, performing before doing this to make it a proper night. So even though it is a free night, it should feel like a professional night, and you should feel like that's what you're coming to. So thank you for that. So we actually started it. Not to be too sad, and this probably is a trigger warning for some people listening, I don't know, but basically we came. My mum lives in Salisbury with my sister, but my mum got breast cancer about sort of 9 months ago. So as she was going through that, me and my girlfriend moved to Salisbury to hang out with her and hospital visits and stuff like that. She's doing amazing, by the way, as mothers of just pure strength and power seem to just be able to soak up anything. So she's doing amazing. So we were living in Salisbury for 7 months. And when I arrived, there was just no comedy. And I couldn't really get to many gigs because, I was trying to stay with my mum. And so we were like, oh, maybe we'll just maybe start a little thing. Because I've been planning to do this anyway. I was like, I'll just start a little Thursday night thing and we'll see how it goes. And we didn't want to do something with too much pressure and stuff like that. And the first night kicked off. And it just hasn't stopped. So I thought it's been dragged along with this night now, where I'm like, okay, off we go. So it's been amazing. It's been one of the most positive experiences I've ever had in my life. It's just been a crazy experience where people have just been coming out every week. Loads of comedians are coming down. Like you say, we are focused on being new material. So I mean, obviously the acts are going to come down. They're going to do some of their best material as well. So anyone listening, don't let that put you off. They do their best jokes, and they do their new jokes, and they do their best jokes again before you leave. So that's how it usually works. That little sandwich there. But yeah, we've got a lot of regulars that are coming, seeing a lot of new faces. But that is a point as well that I feel like we're pushing the market and we're doing as much as we can. I'm out flyering, but then I talk to people and they're like, "I never knew it was there." I'm like, obviously that it just takes a while. So the main thing for us is to keep on pushing. When I say us, I mean me and my girlfriend. there's not a team. Similar to your situation, I think. There's not 10 people behind this. Obviously, it's a small thing, but we want to grow it. But the main thing for us is to push it over summer, keep getting big acts in, professional acts come and do new material, and hopefully turn this into an established night where comedians from all over the circuit can come on a weekly basis, try their new jokes. And that's why we called it Follow Comedy as well. Sorry, not to just keep banging on. Sorry, tell me if I'm talking too much.
Carry on.
No, please continue.
Okay. But that's why we call it Follow Comedy, because we really want it to be a club for people who are who follow comedy and who love comedy. And the people that are coming back every week, they're not a Follow Comedy Club. They're going to see Jimmy Carr, going to see Paul Foot at the Art Centre. They're going all. So it's not like people that are just sort of randomly coming in. For the most part, it's people that I think are interested in comedy, and that's what we're trying to make there. We're not just paying this headliner and this person and this one to come and do their jokes that they've done 1,000 times. we're trying to create a little bit of chaos, to be honest, like a little bit of a crazy night where people can come and just, it always kicks off, and we want to put on amazing fun shows. You know, that sort of fun show where when we come home sometimes, we're like, oh my God, what happened tonight? And that's the sort of feeling we love having when we make the shows.
Yeah.
That's what we want to keep it. And I think new material is good for that. And it being free, we do sort of contributions at the end. But the main thing is that we want people to come out. That's the main thing. We're obviously Kudos makes money from the bar. We do a little bucket at the end if anyone wants to contribute, and people are very generous as well, to be fair, because a lot of times the night is great, and that's very sweet of them, and we contribute to the act's petrol money and stuff like that. Last Thursday we had an act drive from Cardiff.
Wow.
Where'd someone come from another country to do a new material, and he absolutely smashed. I mean, I was just like, who are these animals? Like the young bloods coming up. Like, I mean, I used to travel for comedy, but I mean, you know, I don't know if I'm got. Okay, so our next aim is to get someone to come from another continent. But actually, now that we've left Europe, that's actually not so much of a big achievement. But anyway, we want a comedian from another continent to come and try their new jokes at Salisbury. So at some point, but we're very lucky that people have been coming out. But yeah.
So we've put up a QR code there. If people scan that takes them to your link page, and you'll have all the dates on there, and people can click on a date that they want, and then purchase their tickets. I mean, they're free, but they can get their tickets and go and have a fantastic night, because it really, really is. We thoroughly enjoyed it when we went, and like Ellen said, we will definitely be be going again.
Amazing. Love to hear that. Love to hear that.
So if you could give some advice to any up and coming comedians, because I'm sure you've had plenty of advice from people in the past, what would be the best bit of advice you could give somebody that was either thinking of getting into it or was sort of just starting out?
I would say, I mean, there's so much. I mean, there's so many things to cover. Like, but I mean, I'd say the main thing is, this is almost just so cliche, but I would just say get up and do it, because there's no substitute for doing that. Like, and as soon as you get up and start doing it, you'll realize what everyone's scared of, from from my own experience and what I've talked to from other people, is everyone's scared of dying on stage. Everyone's scared of getting no laughs. But as soon as you do that a certain amount of times, you stop becoming scared of it, because you get very used to it. I mean, like some people take to it really quickly. Some people do take to it quickly. What usually happens is people come in, if they do well to the start, they start with a couple of good gigs, and then it plateaus, and then they work on it. So generally, for most people, it takes about 5 years to get really solid, like stage presence, writing, chops. So I would say get up and start doing it, because the thing is, it'll be a lot less scary once you've started. And also all of that fear of doing something, you get lots of great stuff that comes with it as well. So you start meeting other people, start chatting to people, and then you occasionally start getting laughs, and you're like, oh wow, people are laughing. So I would say start it. I mean, I've probably got a million things to say to people who are just starting out, but also maybe people that are like maybe a year or two in as well. And I'm still finding my way, so I'm not trying to like act like I'm the arbiter, of good advice. But one of the things that came to me is that like the comedian that you want to be, or the comedian you thought you would be, is not necessarily the comedian that you are. And I found that I found that really interesting, because the comedians that I loved, like I'd sit up late at night watching like the American comedians like Andy Kaufman and Bill Hicks and George Carlin. Yeah. And music connoisseurs probably have heard of these sort of like trailblazing comedians. And those are the people that I would sit up at night and just dream of, and dream that I was going to be. And it turns out that I'm not any of those. I mean, they're amazing anyway, but my style was not similar. And that's been interesting. An interesting thing for me is just by doing it and getting out there, writing and rewriting and doing more gigs, I'm like, oh, actually, you start to find yourself in a way. And you start to like, just through the process of having to do it, little parts of you that you didn't realize, or your sense of humor comes out in a different way. So that's been interesting. And obviously you can't find out exactly who you are on stage until you start doing it and get up there. But so that's what I would say. Get up and try it, and keep going with it, because it does definitely get better, and open yourself up to any direction because you can take it anywhere. And what you end up finding if you allow yourself is your own thing, which no one else can take from you or replicate.
Yeah, that's brilliant advice. Yeah, so you also do the MC on the Follow Comedy nights, and I do find that you're really good at not only making the audience laugh and getting up there and doing your jokes, but kind of rallying them ready for the next act. And I think that's a skill that's like almost set aside from being the comedian. So you are an absolute ideal person in your current, and I'm going to call it a job.
No. That it's actually been an interesting transition from doing just straight up comedy to doing the hosting. And that's another thing that until you do it, you don't really know who you're going to be when you're hosting. And who I am is probably just like an extra 30% of who I usually am on like a night out, like essentially. And that's what sort of like, but sober, obviously. But like that's why I think of the night like a house party. It's my house. This is a house party. I want to make everyone feel welcome. And I think probably one thing that gets missed out on a lot of these nights, I think one way that I've tried to develop this night is from working at another comedy club that's very successful and seeing how they do it, but also having been to a lot of nights where I'm like, why have they turned the lights on? Why is there no music on? Why is the MC such low energy? Like, and it's like and things like that. I'm like, weirdly enough, tiny things like keeping the lights low, keeping the music up a bit loud, also like showing the audience what energy you want from them. You know what I mean? Like, like, you know, and I think simple things like that actually make the night run so much nicer and make it just nicer for everyone to be in. But like I said, Salisbury doesn't need much encouraging because out of nowhere, these animals come out on a Thursday night. So, I mean, like, it's been fun. But yeah, no, it's been interesting because I only started hosting about 7 when I started this night. So yeah,
you are a natural at it, and we will definitely be back. But what things have you got coming up next for you? Is this you want to just grow around Salisbury, or what are your plans?
So we're looking at now the Salisbury one we want to establish and keep that going for till the end of time, or the end of all times.
We thank you for that.
Yeah. So that will hopefully be the new material night. We're looking at a venue on the southwest of London because basically we live in southwest London and Salisbury. So we're just looking at making like comedy clubs down there, down that sort of avenue. So we're looking at other places now. The Salisbury night, what we've started doing now is we're going to start, as well as having what we usually do. So the format is normally 6 or 7 acts doing 10 minutes each, sometimes 15 minutes, depending on how experienced they are. Which is nice because there's a lot of variety. There's lots of different styles. If you're not, you know, if one person's not particularly your style, 10 minutes later, there's going to be someone who's just as good. So that keeps the night moving and keeps it fun and easy peasy, especially with new material. But what we are going to start doing now, we've just booked in Rob Copland, who's like a real like improvising sort of like maestro act. He's going to do 20 minutes in June. So what we're going to start doing is once a month, maybe even more, we're going to trial it, is have someone do 20 minutes at the end of the show who's a professional, who's off doing amazing things. They're going to come do a full 20-minute set with new material, obviously, as well. But just to bring a bit more, so maybe consistency is what I'm looking forward to the night. And just have something, and to be honest, maybe even just have something to talk about as well. Because like, it's one of those things where like, when people are coming with new material, we don't want to tell too many people about who's coming necessarily if there's like professional acts, because they're trying new material. It's not a massively paid night, obviously. So,
yeah.
But with things like this, like Rob Copland's coming in June, I think it's June the 13th, we can start to do a bit more marketing with that. And people like Rob Copland will come to that night. Because if you like improvising, crazy, off the wall thinking, abstract jokes, people are gonna, you know what I mean? And I think that might add an extra layer to what we're doing here, not just new material, but we're putting on quality people who are gonna really show a little bit of class as well. So yeah, that's like the aim anyway over the next sort of like couple of months.
Amazing.
Excellent.
Amazing. Well, Joe, thank you so much for your time. We know you've got a gig this evening as well, so you're going to be pretty busy. But yeah, just thank you, and thank you for doing it. Obviously, Salisbury really appreciates it because all the crazies are out attending. So and we'll be there soon being extra crazy as well. So please
Yeah,
don't
no,
pick on us. Though we'll be sat at the back, I reckon.
As we
yeah.
were last time.
Yeah, not the
Now,
front.
now I know your faces. I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
The thing is now, if any of our regulars listen to this, they're so forceful. They're going to make me apologise for this. Like I'll be in trouble for this. They won't let me get away with it. But no, we're me and my girlfriend Chloe, who helps run the night and does the music. We're having an absolute blast. We've got so many great people coming down, and we very thankful to you for having us on and helping spread the word, because it can be quite difficult getting everyone to know about it. It's quite time consuming.
Yeah.
So this is amazing that you've done this for us,
No
and
problem.
we really, really, really appreciate it. So thank you.
No problem at all.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Joe, and have a good gig tonight.
Thank you so much. Cheers, guys.
Thank
All
you.
the best. Thank you.
Oh, that was great. What a lovely bloke.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Really do appreciate what he's brought to Salisbury. It really is something different. It's fresh, and it really is a great night. So I recommend. Highly
Highly recommends.
Indeed.
Like we said in the interview, we've been, and we didn't really know what to expect. But it's great. Everyone just enjoying themselves, having a laugh, and you just don't sit at the front. That's all we can say. Do not sit at the front, because that's not a good idea. So, Ellen.
Yes, Alex.
You know what's coming now, don't you?
I think I do.
It's top 10 time.
Ooh.
So, I had a little think. What can we do? I had to write it all out in my book today. Had a little think about my top 10. And what I've decided to do is I've taken or chosen my kind of top 10 one-liners that have been used at the Edinburgh Fringe Comedy Festival.
Okay, that's a good
All right?
idea.
So I've just found that some of these were actually the winner of the year that they were there.
Okay.
Okay, and others are just ones that have been performed at the time. So are you ready?
I think so.
Oh, okay. So I'll try and I can't guarantee that. I reckon at the time they were probably funny. That's a guarantee.
Don't be
'cause
dissing people's jokes.
I'm going to try not to ruin people's jokes.
Okay.
So the first one is by a comedian called Olaf Falafel.
Is that the first joke?
See, you just said don't diss a comedian. You're just slagging off their name.
I'll have a falafel wrap, please.
Olaf Falafel.
Okay, got it.
That's the name.
Yeah.
So, this is terrible, really, but we're just going to go for it. So, I keep randomly shouting out broccoli and cauliflower. I think I've got florets. Yeah, I know, it's all in the delivery, as we spoke about
Joe
earlier.
not getting you up on stage.
Not good, is it? Not good. And do you know what? I'm not even going to bother saying who they're by, because it's just going to be embarrassing for the person. So I'm just going to go for it. Yeah. Oh well. If you find any of these funny, please let us know in the comments when it's out. So there we go. Or if you don't, then please let us know. It'd be nice to hear from you. Working at a job centre has to be a tense job. Knowing you could get sacked at any moment and then have to come back the next day.
That's actually quite funny.
Yes. Oh, that was a genuine laugh, people. A genuine laugh.
Mhm.
My dad has suggested that I register for a donor card. He's a man after my own heart.
That's really bad taste.
That actually won
That's bad
in the
taste.
year. That actually won. There we go. Okay, so we've had 10, 9, and 8. I mean, they're not really in any particular order, but this is.
Well, they are, because
Well,
you've
they
got
are now, because I've
slideshow.
literally just decided they are. So number seven. Two flies are playing football in a saucer. One says to the other, "Make an effort. We're playing in the cup tomorrow."
God.
I love the way that Ellen looks at me as if it's my fault.
You chose the joke.
I know, but I didn't write them.
Okay.
I'm just delivering them exceptionally poorly with my little PowerPoint presentation. Feel like Ricky Gervais. Okay. I've decided to sell my Hoover. Wow. It was just collecting dust. Thank you, Tim Vine, for that one. I heard a rumour that Cadbury are bringing out an Oriental chocolate bar. Could be a Chinese whisper.
These are terrible.
I'm not gonna lie. I've got that down as number 5, but always my favourite.
Oh, it's downhill from here, is it? Are you reading them backwards?
Oh dear. This is gonna get a groan, I know. As a vegan, I think people who sell meat are disgusting, but apparently people who sell fruit and veg are grosser. There you go.
Oh dear.
I went to a Pretenders gig the other day. It was a tribute band.
Okay, I get the
You
joke,
get the joke.
but it's not really
It's not
funny.
Although I do like the name of the Pretenders tribute act.
Yeah, pretending. That is quite
That's
clever.
pretty clever.
Yeah.
Well done to them. Who knows? They might be playing in Salisbury at some stage. You never know. I like to imagine that the guy who invented the umbrella was going to call it umbrella, but hesitated.
I don't know what to say. It's raining. I'm gonna get my umbrella. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just get my umbrella. Thank you, Andy Fields, for that one. Absolutely priceless. And then I've not even bothered numbering them, have I? So this is the last one. This is probably my favourite, but I think it's all in the delivery. So
Okay, try
never
hard.
mind.
Try hard at this one.
I'll try really hard. Combine harvesters, and then you'll have a really big restaurant.
See, you should have said like combine harvesters.
Yeah, but then if you say combine like that,
Yeah, but
it's combine harvesters. It's still the same. Combine
harvester. Oh, okay, right. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Oh dear. Quite possibly the worst top 10 we've ever done, and it's got nothing to do with us. It's just jokes that I've taken from tins and that.
And made a slideshow out of it.
I made a slideshow out of it. Yeah, all good. I haven't even sorted a gig guide out. So what you'll have to do is you'll just have to check out the Salisbury gig guide. Have I still got a little thing up here for the Salisbury gig guide? No, haven't even got that. Terrible. Check out the Salisbury gig guide. There's bound to be loads going on. Actually, when this comes out, you'll have on the 26th of May, Sunday, Salisbury Live at Laverstock.
Oh, at Laverstock, yeah.
Okay.
If the tickets haven't already sold out.
If tickets haven't already sold out. So I think definitely maybe, definitely maybe, Oasis maybe, definitely maybe, or Oasis
maybe, I think.
They are definitely maybe the headliners. So go and check them out for sure.
They are really good.
You'll have, as we got as BCDC, so that is Break Covers AC/DC tribute.
Yeah, who are hoping to come on the podcast well one day soon.
They will be on the podcast. I think they're actually on the podcast the week after. I can't remember. Who knows? Who cares? We don't. We just talk to random people whenever we want to. It's all good.
Well, thank you for tuning in this week. Do go to Follow Colour Comedy. It is a really good night. You might see us there, hiding in the dark corner, not to get picked on. But take cash as well. Give them a little cash donation at the end. I think that would be my recommendation.
Show your appreciation.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And please, if you've got an event, a charity event, or if you're in a band, or you just want to have a chat, because that seems to be what we do. Drop us a comment, drop us a message. Give us ideas of your top 10s for things. And who knows, we might steal them.
Top 10 ways to shut Alex up at the end of a podcast.
Number 1, Brewdog.
Get lost, Alex. You might want to do the outro now before I carry on.
There we go. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. We appreciate you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're the Sounds of Salisbury. See you later.